Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you haven't been here before, this is where I kind of talk about everything from my own journey through personal development to my family's journey through life, marriage, military, and managing my husband's business and all of the craziness in between. So if you like what you see here, please subscribe, hit the little red button below, and that way you can kind of follow us through life's journey. Okay, so today I wanted to talk to y'all about how we bought our first home. We just closed a couple weeks ago, and if you watched my last video, then you know that we are about to move to Texas in a few weeks. We are very excited. We already have a home, and guess what? We have not even seen this house in person yet, okay? So this was a very interesting experience for me because it was our first time buying a home and we have not even seen it in person. If you are a service member yourself, then you probably have heard about the VA loan, and it's a way for us service members to buy ourselves a home without the necessity of having a down payment. It can be good to have a down payment to kind of invest equity into your home, but it's not necessary if you would rather invest that money or save it for retirement or whatever you would like to do with it. We'll go ahead and get into the first thing that I did, which was research. So you want to research the area and what neighborhood you want to live in and all of that stuff. Y'all use the internet to your advantage. You can find everything you need there. Make it an investment. So you don't necessarily have to do this if you're like finding your dream home, but if you're anything like us, if you're in the military, or if you're just moving somewhere and it's only gonna be for a certain amount of time and you know this isn't your forever home, don't forget about the fact that, like, I don't know, if you don't really want to spend all the extra money on the perfect house and getting too caught up into, well, we're buying a house, so we want it to be the best and the nicest and renovated and updated and all that stuff. No, because what if when we move 4 years from now, either we don't want to sell it at that period of time and we would rather rent it, or, you know, we want to do our own projects to the house and, you know, increase the value. That way, whenever we do go to sell it when we leave, we could maybe profit a little bit of money off of it. So think about it in that term. If you're only going somewhere and moving somewhere for a short period of time, for us it's 4 years, and we definitely wanted to take this into account, even though it is our first home, to kind of make it an investment for ourselves so that we could profit off of it in the future. Number 3, find a loan. So I had no idea where to start, and whenever I was looking up things about VA loan, I saw Veterans United Home Loans. I decided to go with them, contacted them. Within a couple hours, I think somebody had contacted me, and me and my husband were already on the phone giving them our financial information, everything, so that we could get pre-approved for a certain amount of money. That's definitely one of the first steps that happens. You'll get pre-approved for however much. I recommend just doing your cap of how much, you know, what's your limit of how much you want to spend on a home, and give that to them so that they can pre-approve you for that. And then you basically take that pre-approval letter, and that's how you go shopping for a home. So 4, find a realtor. Some companies, I'm not sure, I doubt that Veterans United is the only ones that do this, but if you use their recommended realtor, then they give you like a small portion of money towards, you know, your closing costs, your home inspection, or your appraisal. For us, it was like $500 or $600. So it's not a lot, but it covers the cost of like that home inspection, because usually they're roughly around like $500. We used the recommended realtor that they gave us, and she ended up being awesome. And since we were doing this from a whole different state, which was pretty stressful, I got a really good vibe off of her that she was very blunt and honest. She gave her opinion, and she really made herself available for any of our questions that we had, making sure that she informed us every step of the way as to what we were doing, and making sure that we were totally comfortable in this process, considering we were doing this from another state. Finding a home. Don't get too caught up in Zillow and Trulia because they aren't the most accurate. So your realtor is going to have all of the updated information as far as like what's on the market, what's coming onto the market soon, and they can kind of take what you are looking for in a home and how much you want to spend, your budget and everything, and then send you different homes to look at through pictures first. And then once you find one or two that you like, or however many, she or he will make an appointment the next day. And that's what she did for us. It was literally like the next day she was like, I will go and we can do a FaceTime walkthrough tomorrow. There was a few homes that we looked at via FaceTime. It's not ideal. If you have internet like us, crappy internet, then it just like was freezing, and you know, it just kind of stinks because you don't get that experience of walking through the home yourself and getting that feel, and it adds that much more stress onto the process. But like I said, I felt like our realtor was very honest about what she saw and what things would need to be fixed in the home, and how, you know, basically if she were to buy this home, what she would recommend and what she thinks the home is worth and all that stuff. So yeah, definitely want to find a good realtor. That is key to this process. You definitely want someone who you can trust, especially if you are doing this from another state or country or whatever. So, okay, we finally found the home that we wanted, and the next step was putting in our offer. We kind of went based on, you know, what the realtor was saying, how much we should offer and stuff like that. And, you know, I also wanted to kind of test the waters myself and go a little lower than what she was saying that we should come in as. But you want to stay under the amount that you're pre-approved for. So we put an offer on our house. You'll kind of get that where they counter, but then when they counter, you can kind of offer either what they're countering for or more if you're trying to include different things. So for us, we wanted to include the appliances in our purchase price. We wanted them to pay $6,000 of the closing costs, and we also wanted them to include a $2,500 carpet allowance so that we could replace the carpet. We kind of haggled a little bit in that regard, and then in the end, we were able to we met them at their asking price, but we said, we want you to pay all of the closing costs, and we want you to pay $2,500 for new carpet for all the bedrooms, and we also want all the appliances included. So that was kind of how we went about it. Now, your closing costs, that could be a large portion of money out of your pocket, but most people do ask the seller to just cover them. So that way, whenever you come to closing, especially if you have a VA loan and you're not putting down a down payment, you can walk away buying a house for close to nothing. So the VA loan is it's a great benefit to us as service members to use, like I said. Once the seller accepts your offer, then you can move into underwriting. Now, this is the process that can get a little overwhelming. You're going to be required to send in a lot of financial documents, your pay stubs, your tax history, my husband's tax history, you know, your spouse's tax history, and all of that. And I mean, even down to like childcare statements on how much we pay per month in childcare. And when my husband transfers to his job, like he needed a letter saying that he was actually going to transfer, and just all of these things that the loan officer needs so that they can basically get the loan funded. And underwriting is just the process where they take all this information and they put it down so that they can say, okay, you are eligible for this amount of money and we will fund this loan. During the underwriting process, you'll also be dealing with the home inspection and the home appraisal. The home inspection, don't get overwhelmed. They're gonna find little things here and there, and they're just gonna make one big list of all of the things that they see wrong with the house. And this is down to whether there are plugs for the drain, or whether the flush valve is working on the toilets, or one of the window sills being broken. These are just examples about our stuff. The HVAC system not working correctly. One good thing about the VA loan, they are very picky about funding the loan, and they have very high stipulations for what kind of condition the home should be in. So this definitely works out in your favor, and it definitely gave me more comfort because I knew that, like, okay, there's this list of stuff that needs to get done, but my realtor was like, we're gonna make sure that they take care of all of this. Also, the home appraisal, the VA loan is particular about this. If that home appraisal comes back lower than what you offered on the house and what the final, price was, if the home appraisal comes back lower than that, then you have to make up that difference. They're not going to fund any more than that amount, which kind of helps you because then, you know, your loan is less than what you're originally asking for, but you do have to work with the seller to kind of meet in the middle. I mean, you could either ask them to fund all of that to say, well, your house actually isn't worth that much, so I need you to actually take the price down to this. Or you can kind of meet them in the middle if they're already kind of working with you, like covering the closing costs and giving you the carpet allowance and all of these things that we kind of asked for, which is exactly what happened to us. And we ended up just meeting them in the middle. They took $2,000 off the price. We took an extra $2,000 to closing so that we were going to fund the loan at what the home appraisal was. The VA was going to fund that, but we had to make up the difference. So usually my realtor was telling us, you know, you kind of meet in the middle with the seller. So that's what we did. Closing day. All right. So this whole week was very chaotic. Going through this process, you're dealing with a realtor, a loan officer, and then for us, we also had the loan officer's assistant. There were a few points in time, especially with this carpet allowance stuff that we were asking for, we were getting different information as far as like if we were actually going to get that money, you know, was it going to factor into the closing costs, or was it going to come to us in a check? And it was very frustrating dealing with multiple parties, but according to a friend who's also going through this, even through a different company, I mean, it's going to be that way. Like different parties involved, this is going to happen, and it's a little bit stressful, but this was right at the end, which just made it even more stressful because I'm like, oh, this has been like a month-long process, but now the last week is when all this stuff is coming up and we're on different pages about what our closing costs are going to be and all that. So we got that figured out, and then closing day was just around the corner. We set up a time and location, all that. Now, here we go, right again with dealing with different parties and all of them saying different things. We get to closing day, had a confirmed time and location. I never did talk to the notary though that was supposed to meet us since we were doing this, you know, outside or in a different state. We were meeting a mobile notary who was just gonna meet us at a restaurant. When we got to the restaurant, they didn't show up. Long story short, they said we had set it up. They said, you know, I knew that I never said that. They had set it up and all that. So there a lot of miscommunication, which was very frustrating to me considering it was closing day. And this is supposed to be like our day to celebrate, like mine and my husband's day. Not ideal. The notary never came. We had to find someone on a late Friday afternoon. We had to find a notary, which ended up being at the UPS store apparently. So if you're ever in need of a notary on the fly, go to the UPS store, who knew? And then when we were at the UPS store, I'm literally sifting through documents this big, me and my husband, going through, trying to sign them, get the notary to do her part, not really knowing what I'm signing. Probably should have looked at it more beforehand. I just didn't really know, like I said, how this process went. So it was a little stressful, but when it was all said and done, all the documents got signed. They went out, shipped out with the UPS guy. He was luckily at the store, caught him at the last minute. I still felt stressed and anxious when I left that day and couldn't really bask in the moment of, yay, we have a house, because also we're in a different state and I can't even fully bask in it. Like, I don't feel like we're really gonna be able to celebrate until we're there and we get to our house and we get to take that like family picture and just be able to walk into our house and know that it's ours. The next day after we did close and do all the paperwork and it was funded and everything, that's when I kind of like settled down from the stress and finally was able to say, yay, we did it. So yeah, there you have it, guys. I know that was a lot of information. Please let me know if you have dealt with the VA loan and stuff. Comment below if you have any specific questions. I didn't want to make this video very long and be too drawn out, which honestly, I did this 2 other times before this and it didn't record. Because my husband's not home and he's not able to check the whole setup and I'm still learning how to use all of his stuff. So I hope that you got some information out of this. If you like what you see on my channel, please subscribe. So once again, thanks y'all for watching and have a good day. Bye guys.